Venom versus Carnage. It's an age-old rivalry in comics. It's basically father versus son. But today, we're going to try and settle it once and for all. Finally put this argument to rest and see who should really be winning in the fight. Really, is it even close? Let's get into it. Eddie Brock was a promising up-and-coming journalist who tried to expose the identity of a serial killer, only for the real killer to be caught by Spider-Man, with Eddie having ended up accusing the wrong man. Disgraced and thrown out, Eddie came into contact with an alien symbiote that had coincidentally just been rejected by Spider-Man. The symbiote bonded with Eddie and they became Venom, one of Spider-Man's most powerful and most dangerous villains. The Venom symbiote gives Eddie basically all the same powers and abilities as Spider-Man, including superhuman strength, speed, and durability, on top of web shooting and wall climbing. But Venom's got some other cool powers on top of that, shape-shifting and stretching and everything like that. Venom has repeatedly fought against Spider-Man and fought alongside Spider-Man. He's consistently proven himself to be Spider-Man's physical better, something that both the symbiote and Spider-Man himself recognize. And it's not just Venom is able to easily overpower Spider-Man, but he's been able to destroy buildings, throw around cars with ease, and fight against some of the biggest heavy hitters in Marvel. He sent Nova flying with a punch. He's been able to knock around the Juggernaut before. When the superior Spider-Man bonded with the Venom symbiote, well, he was even able to take on the Avengers. And on top of strength, well, Venom has some great durability too. The symbiote really allows him to take a punch. Again, Venom is better and tougher than Spider-Man, and can easily take attacks from Peter. But he's also able to take punches from Juggernaut and Hulk. So yeah, Venom can definitely take a hit. While the symbiote definitely has a weakness to heat, fire, and loud sounds, it's also not like Venom hasn't been able to overcome these weaknesses in the past. He's survived burning buildings, massive explosions, tanked sound wave blasts. Venom has even managed to survive a nuclear explosion before. And on top of that, well, part of what makes Venom's durability so great is the symbiote's regeneration abilities. He's been able to take all sorts of lethal attacks before, and just been able to instantly recover and heal from it. You could argue Venom has one of the better healing factors in Marvel. And lastly, well, Venom is definitely fast. While he might not quite be faster than Spider-Man, he's definitely shown time and time again to be Spider-Man's relative equal when it comes to speed. He's been able to routinely blitz opponents, even blitzing and outreacting Spider-Man. He can dodge bullets, dodge lightning, and repeatedly moves as a blur during a fight. And while Venom is definitely a physical powerhouse, that's not the only thing going for him in a fight. The symbiote gives him all sorts of other powers and abilities too, primarily shape-shifting. Venom can create basically any weapon that he wants, forming blades, razor-sharp claws, shields to protect him, even wings to help him fly around. And that's not even mentioning Venom's tentacles. Gives him great range in a fight, so he can attack from a distance. He can wrap enemies up with ease, and if Venom really wants to, well, he can get inside his opponent and essentially beat them from the inside out. Definitely a nasty way to go. And with all of this going for Venom, well, there's a reason why he's consistently been able to beat and overpower Spider-Man in most of their fights. Cletus Cassidy was a brutal, deranged serial killer, murdering anyone he could, even burning down his orphanage as a boy. Eventually, Cletus found his way to sharing a jail cell with Eddie Brock. And after Eddie broke out from prison, well, a bit of the symbiote was left behind. This then bonded with Cassidy, transforming him into the monster, Carnage. And ever since then, well, Carnage has been on a one-man killing spree across all of Marvel, battling against Spider-Man, Venom, and plenty of other heroes. Being the son of Venom, Carnage is actually stronger and more powerful than his father, and actually outclasses almost every other symbiote out there. He's been able to overpower both Spider-Man and Venom, regularly knocking them around with his punches and kicks. He's even managed to overpower both of them at once. Carnage has absolutely no problem with flexing his strength in a fight and absolutely abusing it whenever he can. Same with his speed too. Carnage is lightning fast and will consistently abuse that speed, especially when fighting against people who are slower than him. Carnage has routinely been able to kill and slaughter people before they could even react. And then when he's battling against Spider-Man or Venom, well, he's been able to regularly blitz them too. Spider-Man can't dodge Carnage's attacks, yet Carnage is regularly able to dodge Spider-Man's. Same with Venom. Lastly, well, we gotta talk about Carnage's durability and regeneration, a significant factor for any symbiote. He was just fine taking an attack from the Sentry, before the Sentry ripped him in half. But even then, after that happened, well, the Carnage symbiote was able to keep Cassidy alive, as he was torn in two and floating in outer space. He's taken attacks from superheroes like Nova, from villains like Dr. Doom, and Carnage has just laughed off the hardest punches that Spider-Man can throw, been just fine taking all-out beatdowns from Venom too. And then again, Carnage has a pretty nice healing factor to go along with all this, to the point where he can completely regrow his head in an instant, making him very, very hard to permanently put down. And then being a symbiote, well, Carnage has some pretty insane abilities to stretch and manipulate his body, basically using it to do whatever he wants. His go-to move is to create blades out of his body, then slice and dice his enemies. But even on top of that, while he's regularly sending out tentacles to restrain people or suffocate them, basically turning bits of his body into bullets that he can shoot out at people, and just overall being a menace. Carnage is without a doubt one of Spider-Man's most powerful enemies, and one of the most dangerous and unrestrained killers in all of Marvel. So, who wins here? Well, let's break it down. Now, Venom and Carnage have been bonded ever since Carnage was born. They're literally father and son, and so they fought each other plenty of different times in comics. And some of these fights have been pretty freaking crazy, like when both Venom and Carnage used their powers to go into the internet and literally battled it out in a video game, or when Venom and Carnage had a baby named Toxin, were fighting over whether or not they should kill it or save it. There was even a story where Eddie Brock and Cletus Cassidy were old school pirates, just proving that their battle is eternal and all across all time and space. And in pretty much all of these fights, well, there are a few things that are constant. One is that Carnage is physically more powerful than Venom. In fact, Carnage is more powerful than both Venom and Spider-Man combined. Venom is constantly having to team up with different members of the Spider family to have a shot at beating the symbiote. And that's just pretty consistent with how all symbiotes work. Whenever a symbiote has a child, well, that child is stronger than its parent. But strength isn't everything. And just because Carnage is more powerful than Venom doesn't mean he can use that power as well. See, the Carnage symbiote is absolutely crazy, and Cletus Cassidy himself is absolutely crazy too. But when you combine the two, well, let's just say it's not the best combination. Now, in some ways, this is actually good. Carnage has a bond down to the cellular level, to the point where he refers to himself as I versus we. And the symbiote and Cassidy never argue or disagree. But they're also both insane. Venom is more mentally stable, he's smarter, and has actually regularly been able to beat Carnage just because he can outthink him and come up with ways to beat him. And I think overall that's pretty indicative of the relationship and how most fights go. Carnage is more powerful, he's able to quickly flex that power over Venom, well then he's going to be able to beat Venom. But if the fight goes on for too long, well then Dad has pretty reliably been able to find some ways to beat Son. And then if we fast forward to both versions of the character now, well, it goes to Venom. Dark Carnage, amped up by Noel, is an absolute beast. He managed to fight against and beat a lot of the heroes of Earth as he was attempting to kill every symbiote host, was even able to fight against Weapon H and a venomized Hulk. So yeah, this Carnage was really, really powerful. But Venom was even more powerful, was able to beat him in their fight. And Venom has only been getting more and more stupidly overpowered since then. Venom is a monster. This has always been a close fight between the two symbiotes, and either one can legitimately come out on top. But more often than not, it's been Venom, and I'll give him the edge. Venom wins. But what do y'all think? Sound off in the comments down below. I know you're gonna have thoughts and feelings on this one for sure. If you stuck around this long and made it to the end of the video, that's amazing. Thank you so much for watching and for supporting us. And if you want to go subscribe, well, go subscribe. You're going to see more videos like this one every single week. I'll see y'all then. I'll see y'all next time.